What's up, folks? Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. On time for a second week in a row.
I know everybody's like, blink twice if you need help, and I'm like, no, it was intentional.
It was intentional. All right.
Like some way. It's like I don't think people understand what happened. Like I start to get ready to leave, and then like little things start coming up, like job offers or things like that, and it's just all like I have to take it while it's there, because as a freelancer it just goes. If you don't, they'll just go find somebody else. So it's like sometimes that happens. You'd be surprised.
Well, it's good to see. How was your 4th of July?
Firework filled, and there was a lot of food. My friend made a lot of food.
All right, good.
The one that I was
Food
telling
is
you
good.
about. Oh yeah, no, she made like a total whole spread.
Fireworks are good.
Oh yeah, she lives downtown, so I got to see near downtown. I guess the south side of the town lake is still downtown.
Yeah.
Is that downtown still?
Auditorium Shores. That's what it's always known as, Auditorium Shores.
Okay, yeah. So on the 5th floor, that's uncovered, you could see like the fireworks against the skyline.
Nice.
So you didn't get like the whole thing. You got all the high ones, and then you could see the low ones. But I'm pretty sure if you sat like right at the bridge, you probably got like a really great view.
I guess they still do. I haven't been down there in years.
Oh, it was packed, man.
I'm sure it was. They used to always do. You gather on Auditorium Shores, and there were food vendors and all that good stuff, and the Austin Symphony would play, and then they would play, they do the fireworks. Austin Symphony would play music to the fireworks, and National Guard usually had their artillery out there. So
if they played music to the fireworks, I think you were supposed to tune in to a certain radio station.
Probably, yeah. It was probably, yeah. I think that's what
Classic FM, 88.9 or 88.9.
Yeah.
88.1, something like that.
Actually, it used to be, I want to say it used to be 95.5, but I think it may have switched.
Is it the one that's like located next to the gun store, McBride's or whatever? Right? Is that there's a radio station there?
I don't
off
remember.
Of Lamar.
Off of Lamar. That would have.
It's like KUTX or something.
No, KUT and KTX are on campus.
Well, no, and then that was the classical station. Then, yeah, it's off of Lamar. At least that's where it was last time.
Anyway, well, I did nothing, and it was wonderful.
You're like, I did nothing.
Actually, July 3rd, my girlfriend and I went to the Liberty Hill Independence Day Spectacular.
That's cool.
And that was mainly because a mutual friend was in their hot dog eating contest. Now, to be fair,
did they do better than Otis?
No. To be fair, this was not a Major League Eating sanctioned competition.
Well, we all know.
So he won. He ate 10 hot dogs in 5 minutes.
Somebody needs to enter me next year, man. I could have done that. No offense to you.
Well, it's funny to, you see that, and then the next day, watch Joey Chestnut down 64 in 10 minutes.
Oh, and deal with like the protester at the same time, or
yeah. So
or the person that was interrupting. I was like, wow, he got him in the chokehold and still dominated the contest. That's a true champion.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't think anybody's ever going to beat him.
Yeah. So anyway, was it Kobayashi? I wonder if that was the protester.
Nah, was it really? That would.
Well, he was years ago. Because there was like a dispute between him and Major League Eating.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
but so. I don't know who ran in this time around. I don't think it was.
Probably just some schlep.
But we'll never get to see that rematch.
Yeah. So, we are going to recap Money in the Bank, as well as Blood and Guts from AEW, and then at 8:15, we will. Phone our good friend, Justin Bissonnette, a.k.a. Biss, the lead promoter for Inspire After Death. For some reason, Inspire AD, I kept thinking After Dark, but apparently it's After Death. So Inspire After Death.
Because I think the first show was after dark or something like that.
I don't know. Anyway, we've got an event on Thursday at Pinballs Lake Creek.
Is it because of Raw after dark?
I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to preview that. Preview Brutes in a Glass Cathedral. These names, I swear. I mean, we get some great event names in Inspire.
I was going to say, do you know what that means?
I have no idea. I mean, there was the WrestleMania weekend one in Arlington was God Forgives, but Inspire doesn't.
Which makes perfect sense.
And then the June was what was June something? Oh, I forget. Anyway, it was something crazy. So anyway, yeah, we'll get into that with Biss and preview that card, and yeah, should be fun. So we are watching NXT 2.0. They've already had a title change. Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez defeated Toxic Attraction. They are now the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
Ooh, that's a nice little push.
You got Wendy Chu taking on Tiffany Stratton. Now it's wrestling is all about the characters and everything. I mean, you look at Wendy Chu, and a year ago she was the stringy, wet-haired, kind of the leader of that Oriental Asian trio, and she would sit in the thing and she'd blow mist and knock people out, and it was all scary. And now she's wrestling in a onesie and in house shoes.
You never know what's going to work, and those are kick pad house shoes.
Right. I know, but kick pad, yeah, but still.
I mean, the Irish
to go from scary Asian woman to onesie pajamas and kickback house shoes. Yeah. I guess you're right. It's whatever works. So
I think they'll sell more onesies.
They might. Who knows?
It was funny that you mentioned that
because you couldn't really see her face when she was the whole scary person because the hair was in her eye.
I hate to say it, sometimes there's people that have talent and then it's just not used properly, and it's just like, no offense or anything, but she's an attractive woman. You're hiding like one of her better selling features,
Yeah.
to an audience that's predominantly male.
Yeah. So anyway, let's kick this thing off.
Obviously she can work, These two have been going at it, and it's been a fun match, and she just took off her nail.
Wow.
That's okay. Hurt. See, they're thinking. Yikes. I like it. I haven't seen that one yet.
All right, let's get this going.
What's up? It's the most must-see WWE superstar of all time, The Miz, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and it's awesome!
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons with you.
Now, that's one hell of a bumper.
The Miz?
Yeah. That one gets me pumped.
That was a fun interview that we got to do that I got to do at the Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Me and The Miz.
Former WWE champion, former Money in the Bank winner.
And Kevin Dunn's former flatmate.
Yep.
That's how I introduced him. And, of course, we got into that a little bit. Got into when he lived in Westlake with Maurice for about a year. So it was good. How was your 4th?
Pretty good. All things considered.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, fireworks were good. Food was good.
That's good.
The place I went had free Amy's ice cream stew.
Oh, nice.
You can make free Neapolitan. Oh man.
Free Amy's ice cream.
And they had crushins. It was great.
That's good stuff. Yeah. Mine was good. Did the day before the 4th, the Liberty Hill Independence Day Spectacular. A friend of my girlfriend and I. He won their hot dog eating contest. Now, this is not a Major League Eating sanctioned competition. This was just, guess.
Was he training for this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Pretty sure. He ate nothing but watermelon all day on Sunday, but I think that was about it. And so, he won.
Okay, so it sounds like he put some effort into it.
He ate 10 hot dogs in 5 minutes. So not bad.
Stu, we should just enter next year. I think we'll have a better chance.
Well,
I think I could do it. I know I can at least do 12.
Knowing how he felt afterwards, I don't know.
I'll say
obviously,
preparation
it was funny to go from that to watching the Nathan's contest on ESPN News and see Joey Chestnut down 64 in 10 minutes. So.
And put somebody in a chokehold.
And put somebody in a chokehold.
I was super impressed by that. I was like, wow, you can do it all.
So, So it was fun. It was fun. Cool to hang out in Liberty Hill and heard some music. And, it's good stuff. So, all right. So, Money in the Bank. Give me your overall grade.
Loved it. Very entertained. I was.
All right.
Very few things.
I would say a solid B. Might even trend up to an A-.
Oh, I was going to give it a solid B+ show, possibly A- show for me.
Yeah.
But I was thoroughly entertained.
It
was a much better show than it had any right to be.
It was very entertaining. You're right. For a card that was 6 matches, it was fine.
It was just the right amount of matches.
And it took right at 3 hours, or just under 3 hours, so good stuff.
It allowed me to have the rest of my Saturday night free still.
You almost got the women's right because you said that the dark horse would be Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
And
Crazy,
Liv
right?
Morgan wins. Not only does she win Money in the Bank, she then cashes in on Ronda Rousey. Liv Morgan is now the new SmackDown Women's Champion.
Not gonna lie, that's when wrestling is at its best, when it can evoke real emotion. Because I got tears in my eyes because the backstory. Because she's like one of those people that was a fan from when she joined. And she had like the look, but the rest of it just wasn't there. And she kind of has worked at it and worked at it and worked at it.
Well,
they have been saying we need to push new people. So it's like, everything came together and she got exactly what she deserved.
If you saw the reactions from not only her work, her fellow WWE superstars, but even those wrestlers outside of WWE.
Oh yeah.
It was overwhelmingly positive. Now, at the risk of raining on the parade,
let me break up parasol
I
now.
do. Huh?
Want to break up my parasol? I guess an umbrella. Parasol's for the sun.
I do wonder if she is going to get the Nikki ASH treatment when Nikki won the Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Bad booking,
Because that was my concern is like, they put on this grand moment. And you said it last week, too. You were talking about how, like, WWE is a company about building moments, not building stars. And that's all they were talking about is, like, Liv Morgan's moment. This is the moment. This is the moment from the last, the last premium live event. But it worked. So where do they go from here? It's going to be the big question. But you do know that we have Charlotte returning at some point, so I can see that factoring in.
We think. I mean, it's interesting that she hasn't returned yet.
Yeah.
Because Andrade returned to AEW at least a couple weeks ago.
I mean, but I think the division's okay right now without her. And it doesn't hurt.
I guess.
And the longer she's away, the more fond will be to see her when she returns.
Makes the heart grow fonder. I get you.
And since there's no off season and there's no territories, this is the only way to invoke that.
Yeah. As far as the men's Money in the Bank, we were all thrown off because of not only because we didn't know that Madcap Moss would get the slot on Friday, but we also didn't know that right before the match started, the last-minute edition of Theory.
Oh, man. So we didn't talk about him losing the title, but as soon as that happened, I
Right.
was like, I bet you he's going to get put into that match at some point in some way. Like he's going to replace somebody at the last moment, but he'll find a way in. And
sure
that's
enough,
exactly what happened.
They just went with 8 guys, and
And that was
you had
fun.
a feeling that as soon as they did that, they were going to give him the briefcase.
Oh man, but you hear the reaction, and I'm not sure. Like, is that the reaction that they're
What do you mean?
you know how John
He
Cena
got booed.
Yeah, that's what you want, right? So
Yeah, he's a heel, so yeah, you want to get him booed.
but there's like
he's getting a reaction. Let's put it that way.
exactly. But there's like the heat, and then there's the X-Pac.
There's the
heat.
go away heat.
Yeah, so I'm like, which one is it? Because like at that point,
You know,
I think people realize that like, oh, having him in it, he's going to win it, and he's going to ruin somebody getting somebody that deserves an opportunity because some of these guys haven't really been pushed.
right. Here's the thing, and I saw this a couple times over the last couple days, and it makes sense. You got Roman Reigns as the undisputed WWE Universal World Champion of the world, Yeah, you got him and Brock, last man standing at SummerSlam. I'll be honest, I don't see Brock winning. I think bringing Brock in was a kind of break glass in case of emergency because Randy Orton's out with the back injury, Cody's out with the pec.
Oh yeah, I think
they didn't really have anybody for arguably their second biggest show, after WrestleMania. So
I just imagine the sounds of the dump truck. The
yeah, exactly. So you bring in Brock, but I don't think anybody believes Brock Lesnar will walk out of there with the belts. So then it's a matter of, okay, well, who's next? I mean, it's
Riddle.
I think a lot of people think it's going to be Drew McIntyre at the event in Wales.
Oh yeah,
Riddle.
I mean, he's
and that
over.
was our pick. But apparently, and maybe they'll have something else. Maybe they'll get him in the title picture some other way.
But I mean, like he gets a good reaction though. So,
but the theory I saw, forgive the pun, is that you give the briefcase to Theory so that he can cash in, lose, and it wouldn't hurt him.
That's true. That could work too.
Because everybody else in that match, it would have been seen as a knock. So yeah, there you go. You got, if it
everybody's safe essentially.
Basically, yeah.
So like Madcap can continue his steady push.
Right.
Rollins could be free to be like the floater that kind of fills all the holes that they need, regardless of whatever show it is, because he's so good at it. Same thing for Sami Zayn. Another great performer. That's why he's there, and then keeps almost strong.
Drew and Sheamus, two strong guys.
And keeps them fresh.
Riddle,
for their
of
battle.
course, as I said, you'll insert him in the title picture some down the line a little ways. So
Crazy,
yeah,
though,
that may it and when I read that, it was like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
But isn't it amazing though? We're really almost through that last generation of WWE superstars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And like now everybody's pretty much almost brand new.
Yeah, it's getting that way. So the only title change, we just mentioned it, Bobby Lashley did beat Theory to win the U.S. Championship. Everybody else retained. Well, Ronda retained and then got cashed in on. I think match of the night, you were right, Uso Street Profits.
Oh, man, wasn't that good?
That was a great match.
The ending, though,
There are a few moments where I was thinking, okay, they might actually pull the trigger on this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, in the end, Usos do retain. So, all in all, like I said, it was a solid. I'd give it a B+, A-.
Who's Montez Ford's tag team partner on the Street Profits?
Dawkins.
Yeah, Angelo Dawkins.
Dawkins.
Man,
Yeah.
I gotta give that guy more credit.
Yeah.
Like I always felt that he was just kind of in the background, but recently he's like really stepped up. You saw that?
Well, he's the Robert Gibson.
Yeah, but I mean, like when he had to step up and hit those flips and those
Yeah.
big spots, and I mean, like he's really starting to punctuate too. And I'm like, man, these
He
guys
is.
are both talented. I could see when they both split off, maybe both of them getting pretty far.
Yeah.
You know?
So, a few other notes. On Monday Night Raw, Theory not only has the briefcase, by the way, he was swinging it around and it came open. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
And nothing came out. Of course, the fans gave him.
It's like, where's
Gave
the
him,
contract? There
you
needs
know,
to be a
what for.
contract in
Yeah.
there.
But apparently he also wants a rematch against Lashley for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. So I guess we'll see that. Last Friday night on SmackDown, we finally got to. What was it?
Oh my God! Yes,
The Max Dupree?
It was the best thing I've ever seen. I think Pat McAfee's commentary really helped put it over.
Oh my
too.
God, that was so good.
But
With not
Max-
Mace,
it's
but
not-
Massey.
it's not Max Dupree. It's Max Dupree.
Yeah, and not Mansoor, but Mansoor.
Yes, it was
Oh
so
my God.
good. I mean, like if I get it, it has that Fandangoism to
This-
it, but it can work.
It has the potential to have that so absurd it could be it could be great.
Exactly.
Um,
Something that would just work in pro wrestling if you do it right.
this coming Friday night. By the way, SmackDown's in Fort Worth.
They're back to Texas again.
They're Dickies Arena in Fort Worth.
I don't know, man. I have to go see this for Maximum Male Models. Honestly,
Well,
I kind
so
of
they're
want to
going to
miss
have
that.
the Maximum Male Models. What is it? The tennis wear.
Oh,
debut
yes, the
their
tennis
wear
collection.
collection.
It's a tennis collection because
Oh, my
Wimbledon's
God.
going on. How silly of me! I should know this still.
That could be just like I said, so absurd it could be good. I'm looking forward to it just for the sake of Simon Miller on Ups and Downs for What Culture. He'll call it goofy wrestling, silly wrestling. I am all for the silly wrestling.
I'm
Give it to
okay
me.
with this. At
Give
least
me something to laugh at.
And you give Eli Drake, L.A. Knight, Max Dupree a mic. He makes magic.
He does.
So
He
good.
does.
It titillated the senses.
We also got another setup for SummerSlam. So after SmackDown went off the air, Happy Corbin comes down, attacks Pat McAfee.
Oh yeah.
So now that match apparently is set for SummerSlam. In fact, did you see what was it? I guess Saturday night. So after SummerSlam, Vince, Stephanie, Triple H,
and Pat
and McAfee went to the UFC event.
right next
And
door.
McAfee is sporting the neck collar. I mean,
Selling
give him credit.
Love it,
That consistency. There you go.
man. He makes,
By the way,
he
talk
makes-
about the Forbidden Door. Who broke down the Forbidden Door? Dana White. Because you had Vince and Triple H and Stephanie, and then you also had Tony Khan and Jim Ross from AEW.
Oh yeah, they were
in the
all
building.
in the same building, right? So nuts.
So hey, did you hear this? I heard this. Well, I think it was like yesterday or today. Something about Tony Khan would be open to working with WWE on an event. I'm going, well, of course he is.
Yeah, who
That's
wouldn't
not
be?
news.
It's like any promotion would be willing to work with WWE if you're smart because it's going to make you a lot of money.
That's the thing. WWE is not going to work with him. So, quick update on Big E.
Yeah.
Well, on June 22nd, he posted a video on Twitter showing he could actually move his neck. He
Threw away the
about
neck
a month
brace.
or so ago. He threw away the neck brace, and he showed he could move his neck around and everything. Well, he then posted on Twitter on July 4th, and I'll quote it. Quote, "My C1 isn't ossifying, parentheses, forming bone quite yet. The current plan is to get more scans at the 1 year mark and see how it's progressing. The great news is I feel tremendous and surgery is off the table." So kind of a bad news, good news thing. It looks like we are going to be without Big E in the ring for at least a year, which, that was in March, so figure March next year. Good news is it looks like he doesn't have to go under the knife.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to get cut open if you don't have to.
So, that great news for Big E. Couldn't be happier for him. So, switch gears to AEW. We had blood and guts last week. and the Blackpool Combat Club comes up victorious. You had the double submissions, except not quite submissions. You had Eddie Kingston with move on Jericho, trying to get Jericho to submit. You also had Claudio Castagnoli trying to get Matt Menard to submit, and it was Menard that submitted. And you saw this kind of like, Eddie was kind of like, dude, I was trying to get him to submit, and Claudio's going, dude, we won. Who cares? We won. And I think he kind of warmed up to that. I think he still wanted to beat Jericho, but in the end, they all stood victorious on top of the cage.
But I mean, Claudio and Kingston have like a history,
right? And I think that was kind of like they were trying to play into that, but it was kind of like, okay, cool, we won. So anyway, Blackpool Combat Club gets the victory in blood and guts.
What was the Jericho Appreciation Society wearing?
It was all red. Did you see it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. We're talking about Maximum Male Models.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was a little weird, but hey, whatever. And then Friday night on Rampage, they had what they called Royal Rampage. Yes, it's their version of Royal Rumble. Brody King gets the win. So this week on Dynamite, he will face Jon Moxley for the interim AEW World Title. If you're listening to us on the horn, that match has already happened. But yeah, push. Congratulations, Brody King, getting that. I mean, we remember him wrestling, dark matches for Wrestle Circus.
Yeah, I remember that.
And now here he is going for a world title. So
you just never know who you'll see if you go out and see some
independent
pro wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, just fantastic. All in all, AEW clicking along. We will. Those two.
Do you want to talk about what Kenny Omega said on social media like earlier last
Tell
week?
Me.
Where he said that if he has to suffer one
more,
major
setback,
setback,
he was done.
And that always goes back to the conversation that that I like to have on this show, just in case people who just watch pro wrestling never actually done it. Because I've done it, and I mean, I already know like it hurts. So I can only imagine how much these guys who made a living doing it, how much they hurt.
Especially somebody like Omega. That
he even came out and said himself like he can't have that type of match anymore.
No.
Physically, he won't be able to have the matches that you saw in New Japan. So it's kind of like, man, if your expectations are that high, I think you need to be more realistic about what the human body can endure.
Well, it was kind of like, it was kind of like the first Blood and Guts when MJF shoved Jericho off the cage and Jericho lands on
the mat.
Basically the mat with the cardboard and the crash pad, and people are
like, dude's 50 years old.
going nuts about, oh my God, it was it was rigged. It's like, what'd you want him to do? Fall on the concrete?
Did you want him to go through 3 tables and hit the concrete and splat like Matt Hardy did later on? Because it's just like, nah, man. I mean, these guys have already taken more than enough, bumps in their career.
Yeah, let's take a beat
and
here
that's
now.
And that's where I'm always kind of scared. It's like, how much more like we see Sammy Guevara, do something super death-defying again, and I'm used to it, but it's like I shouldn't be desensitized to it, but I am. And it's like, how much more do they have to do to please you as a fan? Because overall, this is pro wrestling. The outcome is predetermined,
There is only so far that you can take, that your body can, through the laws of physics, go against the laws of physics.
I'm just like, am I an old man for saying that?
No, I don't think it's not that. I think it's, there are those of us that recognize how risky it is for these men and women to step in that ring and do what they do, and we understand the how hard it is and how much damage you could do to your body, but there are those, I don't know if they think these people are supposed to be impervious to pain or indestructible, but they're humans. just like us.
Well, it's like
They get hurt just like us.
I want to see Kenny Omega back too. I just saying, don't expect him to be flying around and doing like all this crazy stuff that he used to do, because that's the whole point of trying to make it to this juncture of your professional career, is to make money.
Yeah.
And to do less, like Sami Zayn. He's the perfect example. He used to take these ridiculous bumps. He had these ridiculous moves on the indies, went through ROH like that, and then he completely changed his style to where he's just like this kind of like in between comedic, can be serious, and is a very good, sound, solid worker, and has a nice career, and is making, I have to assume at least a few $1 million.
He should be making good money. You're right. So, but
And
so
do more with less.
yeah,
It's okay.
it is okay. We're gonna take a quick time out. When we come back, the lead promoter for Inspire After Death, Justin Bissonnette, will join us to preview Brutes in a Glass Cathedral. I almost got it through. That's coming up next on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn.
You want to cut the end again?
No, that's okay.
I was like, I'll let you.
That's okay.
Hey, but you got the name right.
I did get the name right. All right, so we got about 13 minutes before I call. So we got Grayson Waller now on the screen. Hello again, everybody on YouTube and Twitch. And then we go, we're doing the other entrance. I thought we were going commercial.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like too. Hey, who's that guy that's in NXT that probably should be part of Maximum Male Models also?
Giovanni V.
Yeah, do you think he should be?
He used to be the former Fabian Eichner.
Yeah, I think he would be a good fit.
We'll see. We'll see if they move him up. Didn't we just see him?
That's what I was going to say right now.
Interesting. They use the design scheme of the Dream Team.
That's awesome. That's a really cool entrance. That's a cool entrance too. That was cool. So he was kind of like his introduction for him. That's awesome.
All right.
I like it. I love basketball, so it works for me. And he's been so
Here's
good.
the key. Yeah, I know he has. But the problem is you got two heels. I mean, it's Carmelo Hayes is a heel. Grayson Waller's a heel. It's like, okay, who am I supposed to cheer for?
I think Hayes is just so good that you will end up cheering for him, while Grayson is just so.
I think, I'm pretty sure Waller's like more of a heel. He's more of a jerk.
He has that, that look that you would see in a 1980s. What's the guy's name? Somebody like you would see like Pretty in Pink or something.
Who? Waller?
Yeah.
You mean he looks like what's his name from?
Just in those movies in general.
Yeah.
But who was the guy who made those movies now?
Oh wow, there's a bunch of them. There was.
Oh, but they're all the same guy.
They're all the same guy. Yeah, that's true.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. John Hughes.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it looks like he should be in a John Hughes film.
All right, so
he looks like the same.
I get that. So I mean, and yeah, I think Grayson Waller would probably get the more booze, but
he just has a face that looks punchable.
But technically, both guys are heels, so it's kind of like, I'm wondering a little.
My one thing is just like how far will Carmelo Hayes go in his WWE career just because of his size?
Well, and that's.
But he's been. But I mean,
that's the key here,
And it's like, but we've seen that you can still have success even at a minimal size. I like this. Subtle, but important. See, heel versus heel. I like that. They really somebody's going to change somewhere in between, you would think.
Yeah. I just like I said, it's.
But we've seen guys that are small have success as long as they have personality.
Well, of course, Rey Mysterio.
Oh, well, he had the moves and personality.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same thing where Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, easily knew pro wrestling, not just from the technical standpoint, but how to communicate.
Adam Cole's not that big.
No, you're right. I forget that he looks bigger, like on camera,
But he's not.
but he's not that big.
No.
But if you have that connection, you'll find a spot, and that's how come I'm kind of like, well, Carmelo Hayes doesn't have what they've been looking for necessarily, but they held over and they kept him in a championship position.
I suppose.
So I'm just like, does that bode well for him? Does it not bode well for him? You know, do they see him as like the mechanic of NXT? Because I mean, I'm always entertained when he's on the screen.
They said at the top of the show they had 4 title matches. There's this one. We've seen the women's tag, which, by the way, hey, WWE, you promised a women's tag team tournament.
I forgot about that. That's good though. That's
and that's probably because they don't have any women's tag teams. Not on the main roster anyway.
No, they have to rethink the whole thing.
Or just let them slowly die out.
Or Toxic Attraction is going to get moved up at some point. I don't know.
Or they'll just let them die out.
What does that do for Liv Morgan? I mean, not Liv Morgan, the other one, that Mandy Rose. There you go.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
What happens to Mandy Rose?
What do you mean what happens to Mandy Rose?
Yeah, doesn't she lead them?
Holly, I think you and I are talking about 2 different things. I was talking about the fact that WWE should let the WWE women's tag team titles just die out because they don't have enough women on their roster to form tag teams. You're talking about Mandy Rose, the current NXT women's champion.
Yeah.
And the leader of Toxic Attraction, who just lost the NXT women's tag team titles.
Yeah.
Because NXT has enough women for tag teams.
Yeah, usually when you lose something like
Raw or
that.
SmackDown does not.
Exactly. So usually when you lose.
Okay, what does this have to do with Mandy Rose?
Yeah, because usually when you lose, the tag teams, or the people that lose usually get moved up in this sense recently.
I don't think they're getting moved up.
That's why I was like, well, maybe they need the tag teams.
In fact, if you believe the rumor and innuendo, the talk is they were looking at moving up Zion Quinn or they're high on Zion Quinn and there was one other. I can't remember who, but 2 guys. So, and if you believe the rumor and innuendo, also. Io Shirai may be just about done with WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Her contract's about to expire.
Yeah, I heard that she's been wanting to go back to Japan, but they've been saying that for a while, so it's not like it's surprising.
No, well, and she let the contract expire, go back to Japan, go to Stardom or Tokyo Joshi Pro, and there you go.
Will she make more money doing that than what she makes now?
I would think so. I mean,
yeah. I mean, because
way back in the day, way back in like the 80s, even into the early 90s, American wrestlers would go to Japan because they could make more money there than in the U.S.
Okay, well,
that's why you always saw like Stan Hansen go over there. Gordium, Dr. Death would go over there a lot.
But they're like the modern day independent guys that have a good following. Essentially, that's what they were like, because they were true.
I suppose
because they were a true independent contractor.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know if that has changed over the last 30 years.
That's what I was going to say, though. You heard some of these independent guys saying like, "Oh, I'll leave WWE because I can make more money on the independent scene." I'm like, really? Like, how much merch?
Cody did.
How much merch do you sell that you can make more money, or how much do you charge in,
right,
and showing up fees? I guess just to show up. It's
I mean, but Cody, he said like the first year after he left WWE, he made more money on the indie scene and with ROH and Impact than
crazy.
He made.
I just can't fathom that because it's just like.
But that's Cody. He busted his tail.
Well, he also had the name value from not just the family, but like the WWE branding for being on TV for so long. But it's like we've seen other guys that have been at WWE and don't necessarily translate well to the independents.
Oh, Lord, no. Well, that's the thing. It's, it's there are those. They'll get like a short-term rub off of being on WWE television, but it's a matter of like how long that can last. So, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like you got, I've seen where was it Victor from the Ascension?
Oh yeah, I forgot about those guys.
I'll see him booked on like some East Coast shows.
Man, I wonder they just got somebody. I wonder they just pissed off somebody in the back office.
You know as well as I do, it can be anything like that.
Like, did they look at somebody the wrong way on the first day they showed up to the main roster? Because I remember how over they were in NXT. They were like Legion of Doom style, essentially.
Yeah, but then they got up to the main roster and it just wasn't working. And part of it was because they looked like Road Warrior ripoffs.
Well, yeah, that's essentially how they were billed. But I mean, it worked at NXT.
NXT, different crowd.
But I mean, the commentary like jobbed them out on the first night. I remember that too. It was just like it was very like JBL essentially just buried them.
Well, look at what happened with Killer Cross.
Oh, it was because people just didn't like the outfit. And I was like, it's okay.
He lost to Jeff Hardy his first match on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Forgot about that too.
I mean, that was.
I don't think they were really ever sold on him because, like, he looked big on NXT because the other dudes were so much smaller, but on the main roster, he just looked like a regular dude. Well, honestly,
I watched him in Impact. I watched him in Lucha Underground. I thought he was just fine. He would,
But see, you even just said it, just fine.
But that's what I'm saying. You
just
think
fine.
Somebody you would think. WWE with all their resources and the 347 writers and all that good stuff, you think they could come up with something. So
well, the big thing was just the fact that he didn't have Scarlett.
Oh, that's right. They're doing the men's tag team titles. So
it's the whole Diamond Mine against each other, right?
Yeah, Diamond Mine Creed Brothers. So let's see. All right, it's close enough. Let's call.
We're trending #1, NXT, Great American Bash in America? No way. I don't believe that. Well, then again, there is no other sports on tonight, so possibly. Or there might be some.
Baseball.
I mean, real sports.
Baseball's a real sport, despite your...
I know, I badmouth it because my internal hell would be me having to work in it just so I can make a living.
All right, here we go. Call Biss.
Hey, Stu.
Hey, Biss. How you doing, man?
Very good.
Good. All right. Do a quick intro, and I'll bring you right in, okay?
Did he hear all that thing?
You got me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Yeah. All right. Do a quick intro. I'll bring you right in, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
We've got Inspire After Death with Brutes in a Glass Cathedral this Thursday at Pinball's Arcade, Lake Creek location on 183 North. Bell time 7 p.m. Central. Tickets are available. Go to inspireafterdeath.com to get your tickets. And to help us preview this card, joining us now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina Hotline, he is the lead promoter for Inspire After Death. We lovingly call him Biss. It is Justin Bissonnette. Follow him on Twitter at Biss Says. What's up, Biss?
What's up, Stu? Ready to do this wrestling thing, man.
We've done pretty well. Before we get to the card, and I'll give you this shot. Any update, because we had the card last month. It was billed as a TV taping. We have been told that there are broadcast details coming. Any updates to that yet?
It's slightly delayed from where we wanted to debut the show. The goal was to debut the first TV show going into this show. I think we kind of were overzealous on how quick we could edit and get the product ready for, TV, real TV. You can't just slap it on YouTube and whatever's on there works. Eric Wood is putting a ton of work into the show to make sure it looks good, it sounds good. And we just kind of overestimated how much workload that would be, but there's 4 episodes that are in production now. This show will give us 4 more episodes, so it's being worked on. It's just taking a little bit more work than what we thought it would.
Okay. But Biss, the real important question is, how'd you guys come up with this show's name?
So, the branding is always Max Meehan. The names, all that stuff is his brainchild. I'm more of the logistic guy. I'm more of the guy that makes sure that we have the right people in the right positions. But yeah, man, it's I really like this one. So it makes sense. It's this pinballs is this magical land, and here we are, stomping around doing our pro wrestling.
It's Brutes in a Glass Cathedral that has images of so much violence and brutality and all that good stuff. Let's start with what could be the main event. Matthew Palmer, who has been with Inspire for so long, taking on a former Pure Prestige champion, and Effie, who, of course, makes his name with GCW and some of the other indie outlets. He's coming back to Austin to face the Monster Hunter.
Yeah, and I mean, Effie is really kind of an embodiment of independent professional wrestling. One of the toughest guys you'll ever come across, as well as just one of the guys that just embodies that independent spirit of, he's gonna fill his booking sheet up one weekend at a time. I don't know if you'll ever see him put pen to paper on a contract. He just seems to flourish doing it this way, which is great for us because we can bring him in, and just a real pioneer for all sorts of different groups and culture and all of that. And then Matthew Palmer, is basically a day one guy for us. And this is a match that Matthew really wanted. So really cool to be able to put it together.
Well, and Jess and I were just talking during the break about, those guys that seem to, make more money or be more successful, on the independent scene than if they signed with WWE or even one of the other companies. And as you mentioned, Effie seems to be the textbook example of that. What he has done between his work in Game Changer Wrestling, his tag teaming with
Alley
Catch, and the other independent ventures he has. He's as popular as anybody on the scene right now. So it's going to be great to see Effie back in the ATX. You've got another tag team match with the newly crowned Inspire champion Rachel Rose and the newly crowned Pure Prestige champion T. Ray Watford. Notion as to who may be teaming up with Teflon John.
I really do not, because I'm not entirely sure Teflon John has a single friend in the business. So John Bedlam won our main event at the June show, and Rachel Rose and T. Ray Watford are the two, the Inspire champion and the Pure Prestige champion. So this is John plays 3D chess. John knows that this is a chance for him to get a pin on one of those two champions, which would give him a shot at one of those titles. So we're tasking him with finding somebody to tag with. And I'm very interested to see who he can discover.
Yeah, he strikes me as someone that, you're right, probably doesn't have very many, if any, friends, and the few he might have might be as despicable as him. So you got Fly Def, Zach Zilla, and Warren J taking on the Cool, Kiefer Bartek, Cam Cole. Warren J won the red Twin Dragon Connection belt at our last event. This match is going to be for the blue belt. So
yeah,
Fly Def, I think we mentioned before, one of the most decorated tag teams on the Texas wrestling scene, not only Texas but in the Southwest. And the Cool trying to, shall we say, ruin that streak by getting the blue Twin Dragon Connection belt.
Yeah, I could come on here and gush about Fly Def every month, but the Cool are trying to play spoilers. Kiefer is very well aware of how the Twin Dragon belts work. So he's gone kind of into overdrive trying to get a hold of this belt, and then Cam's there right by his side. So this will be it's really kind of cool to have, no pun intended, to have these two great tag teams going at it. But yeah, what's in the balance is the blue belt. So if Fly Def can pick up the victory here, they've unified the belts around themselves. But there's a chance for the Cool to hold on to one half of the belts and then work their way into getting that red belt as well.
Yeah, and like we said, I mean, if Fly Def can find their way to victory, that just that's one more tag team title they can add to their already lofty status on the scene. For the Lawless Darkness Championship, Exodus Prime, who we didn't get to see in June, but we will see him in July on Thursday, taking on the Void. Now, the Void we know very little about. I gotta imagine this is going to be a challenge for Exodus Prime to strategize against someone that he has no idea, who they are, how they operate. This could be an interesting match.
Yeah, absolutely. And weirdly enough, we saw the fans kind of get behind the Void, which is the first time that we've seen that in the history of the company. Exodus Prime is a very talented young man with a very large mouth. And it'll be very interesting to see how he reacts to the Void, who can basically do whatever he wants. He is immune to rules.
I was going to ask you, Biss, any changes to the Lawless Darkness Championship now that you guys have come back as Inspired After Death?
Besides being a title that can change hands, it's the same rules. So the Void can basically choose to follow which rules he sees fit. So
okay, So basically, instead of a 1-year status, it's they can change hands. With pinfall submission. ASF and Great Scott, they had their best of 3 for the Undefinable Championship. Great Scott got the victory in June, so he's one up on ASF. But we know ASF, he is skilled. He's got the high flying technique down. This is going to be, that could be a lot of, we could see a lot of high flying in this match.
Absolutely. And the first match was so great. I'll tell you, this was not originally planned to be a best 2 out of 3 or best out of 3 series. But after seeing that first match, we had to run it back and, possibility for a third one as well. ASF is a guy that's super talented. I think it's only a matter of time before you see him on national TV. And Great Scott, I think we talked about him quite a bit last month. A lot of background in Lucha Libre, a lot of background in all sorts of different styles. He's just so technically sound. These two were just magic. So it's somebody's going to get a belt, but I think the fans are going to get a treat on the journey there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Talk with Justin Bissonnette, the lead promoter for Inspire After Death here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. This is a match, Dmitry Alexandrov, Gary J. This is going to be one of those, we're not going to see a lot of technique. You're not going to see a lot of 3-point submission type. These are two guys just going to beat the snot out of each other, right?
Yeah, this is going to be a war, and Dmitry asked for this. He asked for Gary by name. He feels like Gary is a guy that he can really kind of have his breakthrough match with in Austin. Dmitry feels he's kind of snake bitten in Austin, so he travels up to St. Louis, to Indiana, and he has these great matches up there. He wants to have one of those great matches in Austin, which is basically his hometown now. So, there's nobody better to have a great match with than Gary J. You saw on WrestleMania weekend, Gary and Brian Keith just tear the place down. So I expect this to be nothing short of that.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then the Born Haters, who I guess their absurdity has become kind of the calling card or the popular thing about this trio. They're going to face Luigi Primo, and he's got two mystery partners. Now, we saw it felt like Luigi Primo, he took the loss last month, and it felt like he got a little frustrated. Maybe, I don't know if maybe that's starting to seep in. Maybe he's, he hasn't gotten a win in a while. This is going to be interesting, especially with whoever Luigi brings into the ring to face the Born Haters.
Absolutely. It's almost like the haters have Luigi's number here, and you can see that frustration boiling over. Like, for him to lash out at a guy like Sam Stackhouse, who's just one of the nicest human beings around, like, was kind of shocking. And he's kind of hinted that this might be a darker tag team that he leans towards. So it'll be interesting to see who he can pull out. Luigi kind of hangs around some strange circles, so it'll be interesting to see who he can get a hold of to come in here that he thinks can help him, get over the hump against the Born Haters.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to talk for a second about last month, our first event back in Austin in quite a while, and man, the place was packed. It sounded like this one could actually sell out. Just talk for a moment about the loyalty of the fans in Austin that they have for Inspire.
It's insane. It's utterly insane. It means the world to me. Like, I can't put in the words how much it means just for people to show up like that. Like, it's kind of weird. This is the 9th anniversary, and I remember that first show and just being so happy. Is anybody going to come out on a Thursday to watch wrestling? And, then it was like, well, maybe we can get 100 people, and to have that room full, probably over full, was just very touching to me. If you were there last month, we did cut the number of tickets that we are offering, so there will be more kind of room to move around and hopefully be able to see the ring a little bit better. But yeah, I think we're just under 30 GA tickets left. Those I could almost guarantee you that those will go by 7:00 on Thursday. But that's also, we've kind of cut back on the amount of tickets that we're selling just to make the experience better for everybody that is in the room. But yeah, it's to have the support to be able to sell out the first show, and then more than likely be, you can bet your bottom dollar we're going to sell this one out too. It is very touching that fans will come out on a work day and support it that way.
Yeah. I tell you what, it was so neat to see that room packed, and the crowd was just into it so well, and like you said, 9 years as the premier wrestling promotion in Austin. It's that's something to be said, something that you and Max should be proud of, and I consider it an honor just to be a small part of it. So looking forward to Thursday. Check it out. Inspire After Death, Brutes in a Glass Cathedral. This Thursday night, Pinballs, Lake Creek location. Myself, Eamon Payton, will be on the call for those matches. Again, bell time 7 p.m. There will be a few tickets available. Go to inspireafterdeath.com to get those. He is Justin Bissonnette, a.k.a. Biss. Follow him on Twitter at BissSays. Biss, I appreciate the preview, man. All the best to you. I'll see you on Thursday.
See you on Thursday, Steve. Thank you very much, man.
All right, man. That was beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
You'll go out podcast tonight, and it'll be on the air tomorrow night.
Awesome.
All right?
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. I'll see you on Thursday.
Take care, brother.
All right. Bye-bye. Again, big card on Thursday. Looking forward to it. And then hopefully one of these days you'll see it on TV with Eamon and I on the call.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll let you know what's happening elsewhere in independent wrestling. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Okay. Oh, 17:52. Just do this. Meanwhile, we got the tag team. Roderick Strong, Damon Kemp against the Creed Brothers from Diamond Mine. Oh, it's getting nasty. I have if you take the little rubber thing off.
Brand new. Let's see what's that.
Brand new, All right. So this next segment will be quick.
That's what I assumed.
But it'll be good. It'll be good. All right, here we go. Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Matt Simmons. Ring of Honor, they've got their upcoming pay-per-view Death Before Dishonor. Tickets go on sale this Friday. Now, we're taping this on Tuesday. Hopefully, they announce at least a couple matches of the card.
Got to make people want to buy it, right?
Yeah, you got to have some reason. So, we shall see. I think Jay Lethal will be involved. I think it's going to be him and Samoa Joe for the TV title. I think Jonathan Gresham will defend the Ring of Honor World title. We don't know against who yet.
No clue.
So we shall see. Got to tell you about a few other cards. We talk, Inspire After Death coming up on Thursday. You got to tell you about what else is happening in independent wrestling. We will start in Bedford with Red River Wrestling, presenting Resurrection this Friday at the MPX Arena in Bedford. Bell time, 8 p.m. Central. Shane Taylor, Mike Bennett, Ryan Davidson, Shiva Queen, and more. That's Red River Wrestling this Friday night in Bedford. Branded Outlaw Wrestling presents Outlaws Ride Again Saturday at the Woodlawn Gym in San Antonio. Bell time, 7 p.m. PCO from Impact Wrestling. Chase Owens out of the Bullet Club, Sledge, Miranda Gordy, and more. That's Branded Outlaw Wrestling this Saturday in San Antonio. And Metroplex Wrestling presents Condemned Saturday at the MPX Arena in Bedford. Bell time, 8 p.m. Central. Aaron Eagle, Tatum Manning, Sam Stackhouse, Brixton Shaw, and more. That's Metroplex Wrestling this Saturday in Bedford. And that's a look at independent wrestling around the area. Wherever you may be, go out and support independent wrestling.
This is some pretty solid cards.
Hey, independent wrestling, we had the pause, obviously, because of the pandemic, but it feels like it's all back. And so, yeah, go out and see them. You're going to see a lot of these folks on a bigger stage eventually. So, real quick, Major League Wrestling announced they have signed a TV agreement with the United Kingdom with AYOZAT, AYOZAT TV on Sky. They will broadcast MLW Fusion as well as classic content. That actually starts this week.
Cool.
So you get to see Jacob Fatu and Hammerstone and Von Eriks and Richard Holiday and all those folks. If you're in the United Kingdom, MLW on AYOZAT or IOZAT TV. I believe it's going to be on Fusion will be on Wednesdays. So check that out if you can. And that do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin the Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter and Twitch at SGTWATX. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We live stream on YouTube and Twitch Tuesday nights, 7:30 p.m. Central. You can also catch us Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central on the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns. We are the Horn, 104.9, 101.9 FM and AM 1260. Or you can catch us anytime on demand by either going to hornfm.com and click on the on-air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast provider. Make sure you rate and review us while you're there. For Justin, I'm Stu. Thank you so much for giving us part of your time tonight, and we will see you at the matches.
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
Dude, I think we got it right on the nose.
Nice.
Right on the nose. You gotta like it. Minimal editing. Meanwhile, Roderick Strong just got tossed. Nice belly to belly there by one of the Creeds. I can't remember which one's which.
No, but it looks like they could be pretty decent on the next level.
Yeah.
Because they're just kind of learning this on the fly.
Yeah, I think they're a solid tag team. They really are. I think it'd be a good one. Damon Camp, I forget it's Bobby Stevenson. That's Gable's brother.
Oh, that's right.
And the Creed brothers get the victory, and still. Yeah, but Damon Camp is a.k.a. Bobby Stevenson, the, I guess, younger brother or older brother of Gable.
I can't remember.
Can't remember if he's older than you, but he's the brother of Gable Stevenson.
Might have to get the Creed brothers some different singlets or something, I guess, unless the team is going to stay together after this. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. I got to imagine this has got to be the breakup of the Diamond Mine.
That's what I would assume right here.
Diamond Mine, not Mind. But we'll see. Or they could just be because they're diamonds.
Nah, this doesn't have that look.
Roddy's got hate in his eyes. He's got that jealousy in his eyes. Nope, I guess not.
Definitely.
Meanwhile,
I guess they're just going to build towards that.
What is this? Physics on the board. Now what? Oh, there, vignette. Guess we're about to have another debut? I don't know. Lots of math.
Yeah, it's like I came.
The mathematician is coming to NXT. No, just kidding.
Oh, is it the? I mean, they just signed somebody, didn't they?
Well, they just signed a new NIL group.
No, they just signed like some legit fighter, didn't they?
That was Valerie Axiom. Okay. No, that was Valerie something. She fought in Bellator.
Ah, okay.
Yes, but she always wanted to be a WWE superstar.
They even made reference to his family. I don't know why they just got him the Steiner nickname now.
Because we can't keep the names. We know that.
Well, I mean, Steiner isn't the real last name anyways.
Yeah, it's Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
It's Reich Steiner or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. Yeah, what was her name? It was Valerie something. Anyway, she fought in MMA at Bellator. Now she is going to be full-time with WWE. She's supposed to report to the Performance Center on July 19, I think.
Nice.
So
yeah, I mean, new stars are always needed, so you just never know.
And apparently she'll still have a contract with Bellator, but she will be full-time with WWE.
Interesting to see how that's going to work out.
Yeah.
It's kind of being a pro wrestler is kind of like a full-time thing. You know?
It is. It is.
It's like I can't imagine.
I mean, you don't see Bobby Lashley going off to MMA anytime soon.
I mean, it's hard to have like a real fight, you know, on the body, and then try to come back and then get back into this like choreographed, you know, stuff where you're still putting your body through tremendous pain.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So. All right, we're going to sign off and watch Braun Breaker and Cameron Grimes. So thanks for joining us. We will be back next week. But for now, for Justin, I'm Stu. Y'all take it easy.